Right, so podcast number 5. So I'm very privileged to be here in the Pete Whittaker's house. So and it's early in the morning. It's like 9 o'clock. I had to get up.
Yeah, 9:30.
I had to get up early to get here. Pete lives in this like palatial mansion. It's just he's got climbing halls that run from one side of his open plan house to the other, and there's sex swings. There's everything in here. Actually, it's probably just the most. I was going to say it's like I won't say anything disparaging, but it's exactly where you'd imagine a climber from Sheffield to be living. Really, it's in this tiny little box on top of a hill.
Yeah, I chose a hill because of the flooding in Sheffield.
Oh yeah, because I used to live about 500 metres away, like over in Mearsbrook, in the Muesli. This is the Muesli Belt, isn't it? This area.
I've no idea.
Yeah, the Muesli Belt. Everyone eats muesli here.
Yeah, we do.
So Pete's given me a really shit cup of tea with some kind of lactate from a bean or something, or some kind of weird, what's it called?
Pressed oats.
Pressed oats.
Oats, whatever. It's watery oats.
God, if you don't drink proper milk, I reckon you'll be 10 times better. So maybe we should start this. I had an interesting thought this morning.
Yeah. So
I said to Pete this morning, should I bring you a cup of tea? Good job I didn't, because you would have been like vomiting, because it would have real milk in it. And remember this story? You might have heard this story before, but like Johnny Dawes, the not late but still great Johnny Dawes. He used to be friends with Al Rouse, the mountaineer Al Rouse. He used to live in Nether Edge somewhere, and Johnny used to just go around to his house, and he would let himself in. And he would like make a cup of tea, and he would go upstairs, and he would like jump into bed with Al Rouse. I don't think anything went on, but he used to jump into bed with Al Rouse. And Al Rouse was always away, and Al Rouse eventually died on like K2, was it 1984 or something? Anyway, so he eventually died. But he was always going away on trips, so when he was back, like Johnny would go around, let himself in, make 2 cups of tea, come upstairs. So one day, like Johnny heard that Al Rouse was back from like an expedition. So he went out to his house, opened the door, like early in the morning, went in, made these 2 cups of tea, went upstairs, opened the door, and when the door opened, there was these 2 terrified looking strangers sat in Al Rouse, laid in this Al Rouse's bed, and Johnny was like, didn't know what was going on, and what he didn't realise was like Al Rouse had sold his house.
When did he get into the house?
While he'd been away, because them were the days in the 80s, we didn't lock our doors. So these 2 people just had this person downstairs making cups of tea and knocking around, and then there was like Johnny Dawes standing there. So
classic.
Yeah. So I didn't want to do that. I thought I'd avoid. I thought I'd just knock on the door instead.
Yeah, you can't come in the front anyway.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You would have had to, I don't know, pick the lock on the side door.
Yeah, there's loads of like Argos magazines, Argos catalogues piled against the front door.
Yeah.
What we got? Does it look like? It looks like I guess the person you share house with is another man. I guess.
It is.
Yeah, I can just sort of tell. It's not got that woman. Very sexist. That hasn't got that woman's touch.
Has it not?
No. Like it's not sexist if it's true. So yeah. So what do you want to talk to me about?
I don't know. You've come here. You've come here. You asked me. I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know, really. I don't like to think about these things. I don't think about ahead too far ahead. I guess I remember I think the first time I actually properly met you, like I'd seen you around. Oh my God, there's Pete Whittaker. Oh my God, and I thought he'd be bigger. Have you ever? I thought
he'd be bigger.
No,
taller.
You ever seen Roadhouse? With Kirkpatrick Swayze?
No.
We always have to have a Roadhouse reference in a lot of these podcasts. But you need to go and watch. Are you one of these climbers who's never seen any television or films or anything?
I don't have a television. No, I don't watch television. And I've seen a few films, but I'm not much of a film or television person.
Do you get easily distracted? Do you have to go and do some pull-ups or something?
No, it's not that. I just always feel like I have something else to do.
And what's your favourite film?
Favourite film? Oh,
Frozen?
No, that's Tom's favourite film. Tom loves that.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
He's got kids.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know. What's your favourite film?
I'm asking the questions.
Yeah, you answer.
If you're on a plane and it's like, oh great, look, this film's on.
Yeah, I'd just go for the new ones. I just go for the new releases.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't really matter what there is.
Are you going to go see the new Star Wars film?
Probably not. No.
Is what he said?
I'm not.
Is there one? Is there a new Star Wars film?
Huh?
Is this what he said? Is there a new Star Wars film? No.
Is there? No, but is there?
Yeah.
Is there? Yeah. I don't know. No. I probably won't go and see it though.
So this is actually telling us a lot about your character. That's interesting. That we'll get to this later on about why you are who you are. But so I used to so in Roadhouse, you know, Patrick Swayze is this like try and make some time to watch Roadhouse. Maybe I'll send you it on. It's on Netflix. But you haven't got a telly, so you get to watch it. But try next time you're in Norway. I bet in Roadhouse probably really big in Norway. It's probably called like Roadhausen or something. So when you go there, they'd be like, Roadhausen. And but they're not German. So but anyway, in Roadhouse, whenever Patrick Swayze is this like really kick-ass guy who's like kung fu Zen master kind of person, he every time people meet him, they're like, oh, I thought you'd be bigger. Like every time someone meets him. Anyway, so.
Well, that's what you thought.
Yeah, oh god, they'd be bigger. I thought you'd be smaller. Do you know when people are like Leo Holding, they're always like 16 years old, or like Leonardo DiCaprio. Like you know, you imagine he's always this like young lad, but you forget that he's actually growing. You know, like he's actually growing at the same age that you are. Like, how old are you now, Leo? It's like 35. You're like, what? But were only like 16.
How old is he now? 30.
Is he getting? Must be getting towards 40. Yeah. It's midlife crisis time. And everyone seems to have a midlife crisis at the moment. I bet you won't have one.
A midlife crisis?
Yeah, you don't seem the type.
No, I don't know. When
does
it hit and what is it? give me a briefing so it doesn't happen.
So yeah, Patrick Swayze thought you'd be bigger. Yeah, so I'd seen you around like, oh my god, that's Pete Whittaker. And I guess there's a point in any sport where there's all these like young whippersnappers who were like pushing the limits, aren't they? And there's the old guard who are like, I wasn't the old guard, I was just making the shot probably. But there's all the old guard who are like, oh, in my day we didn't have chalk or we didn't have cams and all that kind of bullshit. But they seem to then like thin out. Like some of them just stop climbing, do other things, and some of them just have this like sustain and keep on going. So if you think of like Leo, you had like Patch and you had all these other climbers who were still doing it, but they're not doing it to the same degree.
And they're doing other things now, I guess, as well.
Yeah, they start surfing or get a girlfriend or whatever. or get a boyfriend, you know, if they're a girl. Anyway. I'm trying not to be one of these people. I'm trying to not correct my thoughts all the time when I'm speaking. Yeah. Of like, oh, I just said, what's wrong? Like I had a photograph the other day and I said this. I did an illustration and I said this was like two guys humping. And
I saw that.
And then someone was like, "What's wrong with that?" And I was like, "Oh." I automatically was like, "Oh, as long as they're consenting adults." And I was like, "Fuck it, like, who cares? Like, it's just a picture." Anyway, so I'll get enough. It's too early in the morning for doing this, but so you were someone who like. I remember like watching you doing like Baron Greenback, and I was just like, I'm not really a rock climber, but I was just like, fucking hell, like that is someone, like just this amazing. I don't know if talent. I think talent is one of these words that actually encompasses like a huge amount of stuff, but it was just like this kind of desire, not a desire. You're just going to make this thing happen, like this sheer force of will. You may not know you've got it, but it's just this. It's this ability to sort of warp time and space and make something happen. Like you are going to get that hold, or you are going to stand up on this thing. And I think that's probably the thing that separates like great climbers from shit climbers, but from really great climbers are these ones like Jerry Moffat. This thing. Someone told me Jerry Moffat. He always made everything look really hard, no matter how easy it was. Like you just like, but you had to like almost like rip him off the rock because you were just like, and Alan Mullen, I remember him telling me this route. It was like a grade 8 Scottish mixed route. He was like, you'd literally have to want to jump off to fall off it, but anybody else would be really struggling on it. But this mentality of just like, I can do this. I'm going to do this, and there's no like doubt. So I remember seeing that. I'm like, wow, that's that. This is someone who's got this is like some kind of superhuman talent here. I don't want to make you all blush over everything else. But then and then I watched like Wide Boys, and then when I watched Wide Boys, I remember thinking that in a way like Tom was like the grafter, like he is like, in a way you can relate more to Tom, because Tom might have huge amount of talent and everything else, but you're so talented and so effortlessly talented that it just makes him look a bit shit, even though he's doing the same things that you're doing. But he looks like he's always struggling to like...
Tom is a grafter.
Yeah, but
he works hard.
But he really puts the thought in. He puts in the it's part of the process.
I think it is. Yeah.
Where you just seem to like wander up. You know, you like pick up.
I'm not sure about that.
Pick up a guitar and you just like Jimi Hendrix. Like, oh
no, my fingers are too fat for the guitar anyway. It's awful. I press all the strings. It's can't do it.
So I watched that film and I was like, I really like. If anyone's not seen Wide Boys, you should watch it. But it's probably one of the best films of that period, I think, because it just has this amazing British kind of shitness in it. It's just these two guys in a cellar, like just making it. It's like what's that thing, Full Monty or something?
Oh yeah,
like a climb Full Monty. It's just like this kind of like the underdog, which I think British people like. In fact, people prefer the underdog where you fail, but you give it a good go. They don't like it when you succeed. It's a bit like that. It's a bit up themselves to actually get, And I think all the like Full Monty, I reckon they all were done for like benefit cheating, and then lost their benefits and we're all homeless afterwards after the film had finished. But I remember watching that film and like going like, this is like the perfect film, the way it's constructed and the characters, and you go there and you do it. And I just remember that brilliant bit where Stevie Haston, he's probably the most terrifying human being in the planet, and that to begin with is like, you can just see this, like he really fucking hates you, like he's like and then at the end he kind of gives you like a half-hearted congratulations. But I remember watching that, and then I think you emailed me sometime and you were like, I want to get into like speaking or something. So I met you down at the workstation in Sheffield, and I think I was really blown away, like how you're the most like humblest man. It wasn't like, it was like when's he coming, and you're like, no, that's me, I'm Pete, and how I think it's how little you seem to realise how talented you are. This is like a fucking blowjob. This thing, isn't it? No, but you meet people and they have so much talent, and I met a few people at the same time, like Tessa Lyons and people like that, who were like really, really talented, but they just didn't seem to get it. They were like working in a coffee shop, and they were like this brilliant person who they would only really fully engage with this talent when they just engage with it. But it was just like a sideline, like, oh yeah, I'm a tree surgeon and I do rock climbing as well. Like I remember saying to you, how do you make a living? And you're like how much money do you get from Patagonia? And you're like, I don't get any money from Patagonia. And I was like, what? Like you were like probably one of the top climbers in the world at the time, and you still are, like in terms of exposure and what you're doing, and you weren't getting like really any support from. You got some money from like, don't want to go into your finances, from Wild Country or whatever. But remember, like just being like, just get. I think it was forget about the public speaking. Just focus on what you're really good at, and I think you were saying, I'm going to go to this is just a podcast and I'm talking the whole time.
Sorry, I'll just
we'll get to it in a minute. You've had a few words anyway, but I think I was like, what's your plans? And you were like, oh, I'm going to go to Yosemite in like 2 years' time or something. It was something, and you're just like, what are you doing, Pete? So, well, you seem to, have to like smash your head against the table. You seem to have sorted yourself out a bit more. Is that true?
So that's the question.
That's a lot question. Have you sorted yourself out? Do you realise how talented you are?
Yeah, well, I guess from when I first met you, then that must have been probably when I was 23 or something.
Was that 2014 maybe?
Yeah, it was a while back, but yeah, I was still doing tree surgery work, and I was still doing route setting work, and I was still trying to like mix it in with doing like hard objectives and hard climbing and all that kind of stuff. But then I think over the last 5 years, more stuff has picked up with my climbing, and then I've gradually been able to sort of drop the other things. But I never actually went like, oh, now I'm gonna be a professional climber or whatever. It was more just like a gradual thing. And like 2.5 years ago, at the start of the year or something, I just said, oh, I'm not going to do any more tree surgery work anymore. And then when you cut something out, actually, other things come your way.
Yeah.
You know, and then you're able to say yes to things. And then when you say yes to things, then, you know, you get more things from that. And then at the end of last year, because I was still doing route setting up to the end of last year. Then to the end of last year, I was just like, oh, well, I'm going to stop route setting now. So it's actually only this year where it's been, everything I've done has been fully related to my climbing.
Yeah.
You know.
And how old are you now?
28.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually only been that 1 year. So it's been more of like a gradually stopping doing the things that you would class as more normal jobs.
Yeah.
And then going into the things which you would class as not quite as normal. But just like picking up things along the way.
Do you think you're living life like on your terms? Like you're doing it very gradually. You know, you're very conservative in the way you're approaching it, aren't you? Really?
Yeah. I guess I'm probably just quite careful. I do jump at things, but I don't. But I like think about it first.
Like my sister was a teacher and she really hated it, and she just one of these schools where it's a great school and suddenly you get a new head and everything just falls apart, and she was so stressed. And I remember saying to her, like, just give your job up and jump and the net will appear. And I said it's a joke, like jump and the net will appear. And then she give her job up and she ended up getting this probably even a worse job, but she likes it.
Fishing job.
In a fishing shop. And but I remember I saying like about 4 years later, like, oh yeah, when you said like jump and the net will appear, like I really thought that was like, that's what I had to do. And I was like, I was joking. It's like one of these things you see on a poster in a crap motivational thing. But maybe so. I guess you
were joking to me.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But maybe you're jumping, but it's like how well's the net attached and what kind of net is it? You know, like you're.
I've been gradually jumping. It's been a very slow. It's a slow jump. Yeah, it's like one of those slow motion things. The camera's been on slow motion. Yeah.
Because I guess some people do make that. You know, if you want to be a filmmaker or you want to be a writer, and they go like 100% into it, but they've done none of the groundwork, and eventually they just run out of money or they just fail and they just have to go back to another job. Where like, can you pay your mortgage just via climbing?
Yeah.
Of this beautiful house.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all the other stuff I do as well. Like, I've been doing these crack school coaching, and I've started up doing this white boys business and selling those things, and doing some more speaking work actually as well. Yeah. So I think sort of like everything combined. And then along with some better sponsorship deals and all that kind of stuff.
I bet you're a disaster when it comes to like getting sponsorship. Like you probably go for the meeting and they're like we're going to give you 50 quid, and you're like, oh really, that much? Oh, I don't know if I'm worth it, you know. So when you meet like American climbers, I know American climbers like differently. I think when I was sponsored by Patagonia, I used to get like, I think it was like €2,000 a year or something. And then I met someone in America, and I didn't even know who they were, and they were getting like 20,000. And you just realise that the just like living in the US or living somewhere else, it's so different. Yeah. But yeah, I think the UK is it's a massive market, outdoor market, and I think they do actually exploit climbers and people, especially people where they're like, if you're just a great climber, like I don't see why you should sponsor someone just because they're a good climber. Yeah. But when they're a really good ambassador for your brand and for climbing, like you're like the perfect, like you've not got any sexual assault charges, you've not got any drug addictions or anything else, you don't spite a lot of you're a very safe pair of hands for a brand. And I think it's always been that way in Britain. You can just get away with it, like we'll give you some free clothes, which the value to the brand is like tiny. They're you're doing them a favour by wearing their clothes, not the other way around. Yeah. And I think Yeah, I remember like in the 80s, John Donne and people were saying about we have to have like a form a union of climbers, and I think maybe those days are coming back again, really, because I think we have this misapprehension that outdoors stuff it's not a big market. Well, I think the UK is one of the biggest markets in Europe.
Yeah.
Like UK, Germany, places.
I think for me, I've sort of just like built it up over time. So, and I haven't been really like jumping from brand to brand. Yeah. And I've sort of, I've been with Patagonia since I was like 16, 17. Yeah. And now I'm 28. That's like, I'm getting on for 10, well, it's over 10 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
And like same with Wild Country and like same with 510 and stuff. And I think like Britain compared to America, probably in terms of some of the sponsorship deals that you can get, I always feel like it's maybe a little bit easier in the States. Yeah. Potentially.
Because you meet some of those really good climbers in America, and they own like they'll give this kind of zen like, I sleep under a tree, but they actually own like 4 houses. Yeah. And so they're making like a shit ton of money, and often they're not as good as you're going over there and you're besting what they're doing, but you never
really know what anybody's getting though, do you? Because nobody really talks about it. So, no. But I think for me, I've sort of like built it up over time, and I've built a good relationship up with the brands that I've worked with, and I sort of trust them and they trust me, and it's not like I've just said like I'm going to be a professional climber and then being like contacted this brand and then being like I want 10 grand a year, I want 20 grand a year. It's actually just been like a little bit at a time, and then gradually like filtering out the other work. And then gradually building up that, and it's never been like punching in with like massive figures. It's gradually just like.
Does it also allow you to like step back? Because if you like so I think the modern, when I talk to my kids about how, not you, my child, when I talk to my kids about how to make a living in the future, I always tell them you have to be more like a hunter gatherer. You can't be this single. You have this one skill. So my daughter's doing like maths at university, mathematics, maths at university, and I'm like saying like just like you're really interested in statistics, but your brain is like an engine, and you just you can apply that engine to anything, and you don't think yourself I'm going to go and get this like public service job in statistics, and I say you have to be more like a hunter gatherer. So like for you now, if suddenly like Patagonia went bust or whatever, or the climbing hole business, went down, you have you can actually just go somewhere else.
Yeah, I feel like I have lots of different things going on, and also like trying out lots of different things. So if somebody says like come and do this or try this, whatever it might be, then I'm kind of sort of like keen to just give it a go. And see what happens. It's like with. I'm actually doing like a full speaking tour with Speakers from the Edge.
All right. Oh yeah.
This year. And I've done like a lot of speaking over the last few years now. Yeah. But like that would be something. A little bit new, and it'll be like I'm kind of psyched, and it'll be good.
You really? I think you're one of these. I made this joke about Ben Moon to somebody. Like I was just hanging around with all these really fucking like intense people. Like at this, go to a film festival, all these like really intense people and really artistic. And then Ben Moon like wanders in, and I was like, you could like I think I actually told him actually, so hopefully if he listens to this, I'm not being offensive. But I said you could basically scribble Ben Moon down onto a post-it note, because he is exactly who you think he is. There's no stuff going on, not in a negative. But he is just like he always seems like a very stable person. And I think you're kind of the same. It's quite a big post-it note. But you are exactly who we think you are, the general public. Like when we meet you at the Crag, you're not like, I met Pete and I really like this video, but he was a bit of an asshole when I met him. Like you are what you are what it says on the tin. Because there are people where someone says, have you ever met ex-climber, and like everyone loves him till they meet him, and it's kind of true really. Like some people, they're very good at like projecting this version of themselves, and I think when you go on the stage, to be yourself is so important. Some people are so bad at it, like You know,
I've got some few ideas.
You must have seen some. I must have seen some bad. Have you seen bad slideshows and things in your time?
I've been to. I've been to like a whole bunch of slideshows, and you know they've all been good, a mixture of good and bad.
Yeah.
It's been good to like. Obviously, it's good to go into like not so good ones as well, because then you sort of pick up on like what not to do.
I remember seeing Hazel Finley do a slideshow in Kendal Film Festival, and I remember like emailing afterwards and saying like, oh, just as soon as my job is like helping people do slideshows, I'm doing slideshows. I wonder if you wanted some feedback, and she was like, "No, I don't want any feedback."
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I thought kind of fair enough in that she wanted to find her own way, what worked, and some of it was like, don't have like slides on a white image or whatever, or there's just little things like get all your images like super solid, you know, and that kind of stuff. And I think she's found her own way of doing it, and I think that's interesting is just sometimes when you're offered advice, sometimes it's like, don't tell, you know, it's like sometimes it's like their ego, like, don't tell me how to do it, and other times it's like I'll just work it out.
I think you just got to take things from that you see from everybody and then sort of apply it to yourself, but do it.
You can be like Tony Robbins. You go on there like doing kung fu.
I think you just got to do it in your own way and what you're comfortable with doing, haven't you? Because if you try and do it like somebody else, and you're not comfortable with doing that, then it's going to be a bit crap, isn't it? What's
that word? When you're genuine, not the word for genuine. It's a big thing these days. When you sponsor someone, they want to be like bona fide. Oh, I've got such bad word memory stuff. What's that word when you can't? What's that word when you can't remember words? Anyway, but I think you have that again. Another compliment. We'll get to the stuff where I like break you down later on. Like, you fucking idiot. So what was so you seem to have sorted out your. So you're in a good place.
I feel like it. Last year, I would say, has been. That's been a really good year in terms of both like personal climbing, and in terms of like all like I was saying, all the jobs and all the other things that go around climbing. Yeah, and I think both have been the best year in what I've ever done. I mean, I've like brought a book out as well, so that's quite cool.
Don't talk us. It's like when I'll be on Russell Harty, you're like, I just want to talk about my book. Yeah, I'll bring out an album.
We're not going to talk about it.
Well, I guess I only saw your book like 2 days ago, first time, and it kind of proves my point about this engine. Like, you're actually one of these people where as soon as you apply whatever's in that post-it note brain of yours, like you're one of these people who's probably good at bloody everything and really annoying. Like, you're just like, oh yeah, I did all the electrics in my house, but I'd never done it before. But your book, like, I think it's already pretty successful, even though it's not come out yet. I think they've sold shitloads of copies of it. Yeah, it's come out in America. So it's called Crack.
It's just called Crack Climbing. Nothing fancy.
Because there's another. I remember ages ago you were like,
we spoke about it.
Writing a book about crack climbing, and I was like being negative. I was like, oh, there's already a book called Crack.
It's quite useful, that, because I didn't. Well, I think I would have found it anyway.
But, there's another really good. But I think all these things, like a book's just come out, a big wall climbing book, and you never ever think like, oh, someone else has done it, I won't do it.
Yeah, totally.
Because there's like lots of books about shagging or like about love, and there's lots of porn, But there's like plenty of it out there. So, but yeah, I remember saying like, oh, there's another book about crack climbing, and it's like super detailed. But then when I saw your book, like you've just taken it to the next level, where John Barton is like, I don't understand anything he's talking about. but it's like he's like gone to like the atomic level of crack climbing. Yeah. And so crack climbing is weird, isn't it? Because it's not really. It is like an art, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's probably why that it's very like technical. Form of climbing, I think. Yeah. And it's like when I've been doing these crack climbing, these crack schools, you can see people who've never climbed on a crack before, and they're not like strong or amazing climbers, but after an hour and a half of coaching, they're like when you show them the technique and show how it works and explain how it works, they can actually, even just after an hour and a half, they're just like up and
what's
up
the big mistake?
But don't tell anybody. They're really easy.
What's the big mistake people make?
The biggest mistake.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me this in a written interview actually recently, and I said that it was actually a really common mistake when I'm teaching these classes is that it sounds really stupid, but people aren't actually putting the body part fully into the crack that they're trying to jam with.
Right.
It's like hanging half out.
Yeah.
And then they wonder why they're sort of like falling out the crack, and you try and do a hand jam and the whole hand isn't even in the crack.
Yeah.
You try and do an arm bar and they haven't got like
they're not really thinking it like that way.
Yeah.
A bit like I think a bit like you've done some ice climbing now, haven't you?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Like I think the big mistake people make with ice climbing and mixed climbing.
Yeah, have you got any tips?
They don't like fully weight their ice axes. Like when you're ice climbing, you need to be like hanging off your ice axes to some degree.
Yeah.
People are like really afraid that their ice axe is going to pull out. It doesn't work. And I remember we met you
because they're not like pulling down and they're
they're not like fully weight because they're just afraid it's going to pull out.
Yeah.
And often by not weighting it, it does pull out because it's kind of half engaged or whatever.
Half and half.
What's that thing of a committed foot never slips?
Oh yeah, is that?
That's probably not true, though, is it?
Weighted foot never slips.
Yeah, I always like to think that's true, but that's probably not true. Not when you're on that one, your foot's next to your hand.
No.
Look, I remember meeting you in Squamish and took you out for a fancy meal. Seem to remember?
Did we?
Oh no, I made you some slop in the pan.
No, I think you just thought I was lonely.
Homeless,
I was lonely and homeless. I got Squamish by myself.
Yeah.
I didn't have any friends.
Oh, you also soloed. You soloed like three routes in a day.
Yeah.
And that was like preparing for the
old camp.
Yeah, you were turning up like, Andy, how do you do this? How do you type? Oh Christ, Pete!
I'd read your book though.
Yeah,
I'd read your book by then.
Loads of that book. I think the first version of that book had loads of mistakes in it. Like the diagram didn't work. I think there was like a slippery hitch, and I think the diagram wasn't right, so people were trying to get it to work, and it wouldn't work.
Yeah,
I've noticed that doing the because you've done some illustrations as well. Is that people look at things like you just draw like a random knot. There's not actually a real knot. It's just not important.
Yeah,
and people are like
people are looking at it.
Yeah, like that knot. What kind of knot is that? And you're like, it's just a knot. It's not a knot. And it's like, oh yeah, but so yeah, people like one line is in the wrong place. Like 1 5 centimeter line is in the wrong place, and the whole thing doesn't work. And it's anyway. So I remember meeting you, and Vanessa was like learning to crack climb. My wife Vanessa, and she was literally like in tears, like, how can it be so like a 5-7 crack?
Yeah.
How can it be so hard? And like literally in tears. But it was amazing how quickly people just if you were doing like crimping up some overhanging limestone wall, it would take you like months and months and months to get good at it. But within like 2 or 3 times, and I think maybe at my level of crack climbing, I think the thing people forget is it's all about your feet. It's not about it's not about your hands. So people often wear the wrong kind of, Vanessa would wear like Anastasia Velcros.
Totally wearing the wrong size, the wrong style of shoe.
Yeah.
And they've got like their sport climbing downturns on.
Yeah,
and then they're trying to, it's like really high profile on the end of the foot, and then they're trying to get it in the crack, and it's like, it's not good.
Do you see that? Like when you, I think the book's going to become like one of those books that everyone's going to have, and wherever you go, people are going to know you about that book rather than about all the climbing. I reckon.
Maybe, I don't know.
You'd be like the crack guy, and the people, oh Pete, have a taped up right, and what do you think a crack jam is, and all that kind of stuff.
I'm quite psyched that a lot of the sort of more advanced techniques in the book, like they didn't really have any names. Some of the things that I was describing, so it was quite fun. I actually had to make up a load of names. So it'd be interesting to see in like 2, 3, 4 years time or something whether you whether you're out in Indian Creek and you just hear somebody like, so you like you just get the trout tickler and then you move into a private pirate and and all this stuff. That'd be great. I'd love that.
Yeah, because I'm writing this book about descending, an abseiling book.
Yeah.
And it's exactly the same thing. It's like not names for things.
Yeah.
But you need to have a name for it. And I got this thing called a Murphy sling, which is just like a pre-built sling for when you're setting abseils when you're separate from the abseil. And I just thought like basically when all else fails, this has to work. So I just called it like a Murphy sling. And I thought it'd be quite funny if people started saying like, oh yeah, it's need to set up a Murphy sling up. Yeah. And I tried to get away from using the.
Why did you call it Murphy sling?
I think it was just like, so it became like a thing rather than just a sling. It's actually because like is it the word protocol? Yeah, you know this thing like the last person. There's all these protocols in the book. So one of them is like the last pair. There's always a backup for the first person. So the first person down is protected, and the last person takes up the backup, and it's called like LAPAR or something protocol. So I tried to create all these things like when I started climbing, no one ever used a Prusik loop as a backup. And slowly it's got like
wrap it around your leg.
Yeah, or some shit like that, or nothing at all. If I'm knots in the end of it, and the rope, and that's where lots of people used to get killed. And it's amazing how many people you meet now. Like I was at Krakow, like Thomas Huber and like loads of people, and they're like asking about climbing accidents, and all of them were like abseiling off the end of the rope and somehow not dying. But then other people who died, who there's one person where his girlfriend ended up like paraplegic, abseiled off the rope, and then she committed suicide. It's like, Christ almighty, like why did it take us so long just to tie knots in the rope or do all this simple kind of stuff? So but I was trying to get away from using the word Prusik loop, because when you're teaching someone, it's like, well, tie this, but it's not actually a Prusik knot. It's like an auto block, which is a kind of Prusik knot, but it's not a Prusik knot. And also, it's not a loop, it's actually like a length of cord. It's like a strand of cord. And it creates all this like confusion when you're trying to teach somebody. Because we know like, you need to use a daisy chain, but it's not actually a daisy chain. It's actually an adjustable sling, which is more like a lanyard and blah, blah, blah. And so just trying to get down to a really basic way of describing everything. So I think it's called like a hitch cord or something, but then you just find that it's just in the language, it's so strong. Like some people call it like a third hand or a backup, and it's some things get really ingrained in how you think of how we do things without ever thinking about. It's like a classic etria, like a Ada, we call it. It's the shape it is because it's how we used to tie it out of tape. And then someone started sewing them, but it doesn't need to look like that. It's just that's how it was when we was tying knots in it. But no one really thought about it. So like a ladder style is like the best way to do it. But for like 20, 30 years we had ones which were just that shape because that's how you would sew them.
How were they?
They were like step, like offset steps.
Oh yeah, offset steps. That's like what I've got.
Yeah, because that's how you tie it with a piece of tape.
Right.
But I really want like a ladder one's much easier. You can step in it much easier.
Yeah. The problem with those ladder ones is they crush it. Well, it depends if they have the
if you have
the stiff bar at the top. Yeah.
But
if
like,
they're proper.
But it's like so maybe like so going back to the language of something. Like so when you say like tickling trout,
the trout tickler,
it's
the light bulb changer.
But it's like so perfect, isn't it? Because it's trying to teach someone how to do something, especially when you're not there via you're constantly checking yourself. Like I was saying writing this morning about if you have to descend on a piece of like electron ladder, because it covers everything about how to descend. So sometimes you go to places and there's like literally a piece of old electron ladder, or there's a bit of chain, but literally like bike chain, or there's bit of hose pipe. There's all this, the more you climb around the world, the more you experience all this shit that's just like fixed on routes. And
have you found bike chains?
Yeah. Like an island, you'll see like
I haven't
bike
found
chains.
any bike chains on.
But you're trying to cover yourself, like saying like fixed ropes generally don't snap when you're abseiling on them. They're generally going to snap when you're dewmaring on them, and also when you're abseiling on them, you can see where the damage is. But when you're going up, you can't see where the damage is. So they're more like anyway. But then you try to cover yourself by saying, but sometimes they do snap, and it's such a complicated. Just the idea of a fixed rope, coming down East Ledges of El Cap. It's like really super complicated, but it's just a bit of rope hanging down. Yeah. But then people just abseiled off the end of the rope because the rope was broken or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So you can see why. Yeah. So crack climbing, it's just a crack and you climb up it. But yeah, like how many words is it?
I think it's maybe 80,000.
Yeah.
85,000.
And it's like got shitloads of illustrations.
It's got lots of illustrations. I didn't actually do the illustrations. Yeah, somebody else did them. But
you dodged a bullet there.
Yeah. I'm not very well. It's lots of like hands and feet and body parts, and I'm not very good at drawing that sort of stuff. So
did it go out to many people to read?
To read it before it went out? No. No, it was just me. So I basically wrote I just literally sat down and wrote all the text, and I didn't actually refer to any other books or any other articles or anybody else's ideas that were out there. Yeah. It was all just the knowledge.
What you know.
Yeah, the knowledge that I've learned from going crack climbing.
Yeah.
And then just like condensed into that book. And then it was John, the editor at Vertebrate, who edited it all.
So he was like the everyman, I guess. Like when he was reading it, does this make sense to me?
Yeah. And he's a climber, and he was the main editor, and then there were two other people who read it. Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, I didn't show anybody my work before.
Yeah. Are you embarrassed at all about writing a book, or does it feel like just suddenly just come out with this book? Was it a really great creative process, or was it what made you start doing it?
No, well, I initially started doing it because I was getting loads of questions after doing these like crack workshops. Yeah. I was getting loads of questions, and then I was getting loads of questions through sort of like Instagram.
Here by the book.
And it's like you can only answer so many, and you can only answer like so in depth. And I was just like, I have all this information in my head, and I feel like I know a lot more than what is already out there as well in terms of like crack climbing content. I was just like, I'm gonna like put it all in a book, just like everything I know.
Do you get a lot of questions about silent partners as well?
I do get quite a few questions about rope soloing actually as well. I get a lot of questions about rope soloing. But to be honest, I don't really feel like I know that much. I have done a whole bunch of rope soloing, but to be honest, I don't really feel like I know that much about,
it's like one of those things where you're almost like, I was on that, it was like a Facebook group, like rope soloing Facebook group. I had to leave it because people were just so dangerous. Right. I think you have to go through the process of learning to understand what you don't know, really.
Yeah. I only really, in rope soloing, I only really feel like I know how to do sort of like one system. Yeah. Just like the system that I've used to like free climb and rope solo, and that's it. Yeah. But I don't really feel like I know.
And again,
I would be able to do it, if I was like going and climbing, like aiding a big wall, and soloing it and hauling my bag and all that sort of stuff, then I would know. Like I know how to do it. But it's not like I don't really feel like I have a great knowledge in it, but people still always ask me loads of questions.
I guess you're...
people just want an answer though, don't they? It doesn't really matter what it is.
Yeah. Pete said this. Peter, just hold on with your hand if you fall off. But even that, like rope soloing, again, there's like, people send you questions, and what they mean is like top roping. Soloing,
right.
Or like you don't really fundamentally understand what you're even talking about.
Sort of like on a fixed line.
Yeah, like what do you call that?
Plugging or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. Again, there's like millions of names. Like even there's that knot you use, but it's probably got a different name. You have words in your head, but you don't know what they sound like. There's like a macrae thingy knot. Not where you put a bite around something like a tree, and you used to call it a slippery hitch, and then when you pull them on strand, the knot comes apart and you can pull it down. It's like there's about like 5 names for this knot. There's like French have a different name for it, but it's like say you want to on a tree, but you don't want to leave a sling. You just put a bite around and then you tie the knot.
Right. I don't know that.
You just pull them on strand and it all comes apart.
Oh, really?
But one strand's kind of good.
Right. No, and, I don't know that one.
Yeah, but like just coming up with like one name. Maybe I should make a name up for this.
Make a name up for it. Maybe I should make a name up for it now.
Knob end's not. One of the knob end goes first. Have you got any Whittaker moves? Is it like a Whittaker?
No, they're all to do with either food or animals. Yeah, like the wide pony or the donut jam or like trout tickler. All that kind of stuff. Oh, and pirates.
So what's a trout tickler? What does that look like?
The trout tickler is basically it can kind of cover quite a few different jams, but it's basically where you're jamming one body part against another body part, but it's usually like a sort of hand or a fist against a leg, or like a finger. I remember doing once on a route, and I had this hold in like a sort of a Gaston style. And then the only way to make it work was to actually finger jam in the slot against my own finger jam. Right. So like you finger to make the finger jam, to make the hold work, you were actually using like a double finger jam, but the finger jams were finger jamming against each other.
Oh right.
Yeah. So we call that like a sardine tickler. It's slightly smaller.
We need some t-shirts
with these names on. Yeah.
And do you ever like meet some of those really old, when you're like the really old time crack climbers, like in Yosemite or in like Moab or wherever? Do you ever talk to them, and do they have a different? What's their relationship to crack climbing compared to you? Do you ever talk to those old guys?
Well, I haven't actually met that many of. I've met a few people, but I interviewed quite a lot of people for the book.
Oh right.
So I spoke to some folks on email.
Yeah.
It was quite it was quite interesting speaking to some of them, and some of the like stories that they came back with.
Yeah.
I like the one that Peter Croft wrote.
Yeah.
Because he's a bit of a legend.
Oh yeah.
And it's just quite funny because he's. I ask everybody to like tell an interesting or memorable story.
Yeah.
And he's talking about just going out and how he solos, just like nonchalantly soloing this 512A finger crack or something. And then he gets this like bat in the crack, and it's like shouting at him basically, and the only way he can get away from it is like carry on climbing, but then this bat like carries on and follows him up, and then he gets to the top, but he can't top out on the route. And the only way to get down is to down climb this like 12A route, and he just goes into like how he's like a little bit nervous, not about the 512A down climb of this finger crack, but about going past this bat again, and whether it's going to like follow him back down. So I don't know. Yeah, it's quite funny speaking to these guys.
That's something you've never.
Stories.
You've never been like one of these like free soloing people, have you?
I'm not really into like hard.
A bit like Tommy Caldwell, you're both like, sort of unique, really. You never seem to have gone down that path.
Yeah, I mean, I have done free soloing, and I've done a lot of free soloing on the Gritstone around here.
Yeah, you've probably done quite a lot of routes where you were basically free soloing anyway, I guess.
Yeah, and like that sort of thing. You just got a rope attached to you. Yeah, and it's more for mental stability. And I have done like some like free solo on some bigger things as well, but only like in very moderation and on easy ground. I never really feel like I want to try and push a standard. A standard of free soloing. I don't enjoy it.
Does that come from having? Does that come from being a very like, level-headed person? Because I always think about. I think you're kind of similar to like Tommy Caldwell. In that, I always think you've both as very stable people, where other people I could mention are probably less stable, and that manifests itself in how they climb and their how people engage with them.
Yeah,
like you're very understated.
I know, like some people, like some free soloists, they sort of like enjoy the feeling of climbing hard and free soloing hard. Yeah, but. I just flipping hate that. Yeah. Like it just feels awful. Yeah. Like I don't mind it if it's like completely within your ability. Yeah. And it's like me free soloing something is like, your everyday person walking up the stairs or something. Because you feel in control, you feel comfortable. Yeah. And I don't have any problems with it. But as soon as you start to like push it where the consequence is like certain 50-50. Death. Well, no, certain death if you like fall. It's not just like on the Gritstone Crags where. Yeah. Because I pushed it quite hard on the Gritstone Crags, but it's not quite the same as like pushing it hard on bigger multi-pitch routes or anything. And I just don't like the feeling in it at all.
Do you think there's like an aspect of performance as well when people are soloing? Like they like people to see them doing it. Like Peter Croft is unusual. Like he probably solo shit no one ever knows he's done. Or,
that's probably
Where other people, it's like I remember like was it last 2 years ago? Finally got around to doing Snake Dyke.
Yeah.
And you're on Snake Dyke and it was like I think the trick to Snake Dyke is turning up late.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is like going up there. But there's like literally a party on every belay going up. And some guy like came past like soloing up and he just looked so sketchy. And like, why would you do it when there's so many people up there who are dropping things, everything else? Yeah. And then there's someone else who, the guy was soloing with his girlfriend and there's that. You must have done Snake Dyke.
I've not done it.
All right. But it's like super, like you literally would have to throw yourself off.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a Via Ferrata, but without any Via Ferrata things, just like walking up it. But there's like one bit where, you know, if you're doing like a lot of slab climbing, you know, when you do that one move on the slab and you're just like, oh, I'm not going to fall off. You have to tell yourself, I just have to stand up and then there's going to be a hold. So you've got to do this move and then you realise actually a bolt there because you're so used to climbing in Tuolumne where there's no bolt. You're just like, oh, actually, it's a bolt. That's easy. You just clip it and you just stand up. But that's the only bit. If you're soloing it, you're kind of like, you know, my foot's not going to slip. And I just saw this woman like like halfway on this move.
What, soloing?
Yeah, soloing. With the boyfriend was above her, like taking a selfie. Soloing. Yeah, soloing. Yeah.
Oh, they both.
Yeah, and you're just like, fuck yeah, what are you doing? Like that kind of the ego thing of like, it's not. It's just. I think it's one of these things. It's kind of good to do it when no one's there. Like I always thought that was interesting about Uli Steck, how he would go and solo something without anyone knowing, and then he would go back and then he would like reclimb bits of it for camera or photographs. But he always had that out where he can just say like, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to do something else. But I think that act of like performance is kind of what is, you know, like even the El Cap thing, like it's kind of with you know soloing El Cap. There is that extra little bit of pressure when you've got Jimmy Chin and everyone else fucking hanging up there, you know, yeah, you can just say, I'm not going to do it, but there is that like, I guess so, yeah. You ever that sort of Evel Knievel, like when he went to Wembley Stadium and they had all these buses, you know, you can jump over all these London buses. Oh, yeah. And they had the ramp because it came all the way down from the side of the stadium, down and then up over these buses. And when he came out, he looked down, and I don't think he'd ever seen it. And he just looked down and he said, I can't do it, it's too far. And everyone was there, you know, like, hey, evil. And like, what are you going to do? He said, I'll just have to try. Yeah. And he went down, I think he crashed. But like, it's just that, it's like, well, everyone's here, I'm just going to have to try. Yeah. You know, I'll just strap myself. I think when he went on his rocket car across the Grand Canyon, I think he was like, you know, 100% sure he was going to die. But he just did it because, you know, the TV cameras were there. And but yeah,
I think there probably are quite a lot of solo climbers who, I mean, they just go out and just go soloing anyway, don't they? Yeah. It's not like there are people around. I think it's quite a normal thing to do.
Just to go like have a circuit. Yeah, just do them all.
Yeah.
I'm always kind of wary when there's people around. I think you have that. Because it's always kind of hardcore to solo. You know, you see there's really popular routes on El Cap on you know, like in Yosemite, and there's like people like, oh, excuse me, can I just go past you and whatever. And it always seems like daft really to me, but maybe I'm getting old. Yeah. Like on Standage, it's great when you're on the grid, just like soloing all these routes. Yeah. You know, and it's
but it is nicer when you're just by yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know, especially like I know sometimes like I'll just go out one evening on the grit and just do like a nice circuit of very easy climbs and ones that I know and, you know, just nip around them. But you feel like sometimes you just feel like a bit of a douchebag. You know, it's like, oh, all I want to do is just go out and solo these routes, but it's really busy at the popular end. Yeah. It's not like I've done these routes loads of times, but then you sort of feel like,
oh my God, that's Pete Whittaker over there.
No, but then you sort of feel like, some of these routes are sort of like big lifetime goals for people.
Yeah.
And then you just sort of feel like, oh, I feel like a bit of a douche. Yeah. Well, all I want to do is just come out and do my circuit and then go home.
You're doing like flying butchers direct with like a pot on your leg or something.
Yeah, like Jerry. Yeah. But yeah, you just sometimes feel like, oh, I wish there wasn't anybody else there.
I think the second podcast I did was about staying alive, and I was talking about how we can like lead other people astray, like young climbers, because they see that, oh well, I was on Stanish and Pete was soloing, you know something, and like, oh, that's what I need to be like. Yeah. But they don't see the full picture of like who you are and what you've done, and you've done the route like a million times. You've done it 20 times on a rope or whatever, and is that?
You
and
don't lead people astray, do you?
I always think that. So again, I guess it's back to like, so you and Tommy Caldwell are like, in my mind, are really good ambassadors for climbing. I think you're very good ambassadors just as people as well. But because I just think you're very solid. I always think you've got a very good. You seem to have a very good foundation. And Tommy's the same, isn't it? Basically, like you learn all the. The thing about his dad said, never go ice climbing, never solo or something, and it's sort of stuck in his head, and that's why he doesn't do it.
Yeah,
and I think it is having that foundation. Again, it's this thing about knowing the rules and you know when you're breaking them. Yeah. But some people don't know the rules. Yeah, they don't know they're breaking them. Yeah. And they're...
I think I probably had quite a good. I did have a good sort of foundation when going out climbing with my parents and stuff, and they're very they like to be safe. Yeah. But I feel like some of the stuff we did when I was younger, like going out and doing some of these things. I mean, there was some risk to it. Yeah. For them taking me and my sister wherever we went and doing these things. There is some certain amount of risk to doing it. But I always feel like the risk was managed in a safe way. Yeah. And I think that's probably like one of the things that I've learned from being younger and with my family. Like,
what the line is in a way.
I like to think I do.
Yeah.
I like to hope so, but I mean, for sure, I've definitely done like dangerous things. Yeah. Like definitely, really dangerous things. But I like to feel like I've managed the risk so that they become less dangerous. Yeah. Yeah. Also, yeah. So there is. Yeah. There is that kind of lesser risk.
Risk is a really weird. It's weird that we have this idea of a line. Like, I'm always wary of creating these like models in our head that are like a fixed idea. Like, people say like, oh, how are you feeling? Like, oh, I'm like, oh, I feel like 80% good or something. Like really, a human being is like an ink. When you pour ink onto water, it's just oil onto water. It's this constantly changing thing. Is what is you define yourself. I define danger as a line is kind of dangerous because that line is like 10 miles wide or something, and you're like a millimeter like in the middle of it or something. But I think when you're going around like in Sheffield today, you see like people cycling with their kids on the back in a little trailer. Yeah. And for me, that's more dangerous than like taking your daughter up El Cap or whatever. Yeah. But the way they see the risk is maybe different. So
yeah, I think everybody sees it differently, don't they?
So often climbers can be super risk averse. People who think, oh, this person does dangerous stuff, therefore they take lots of risks. Often it's the opposite way.
Well, I actually just wrote an article about danger and risk.
Oh right, who for?
It was for Rock and Ice. Yeah.
Another plug. He's getting them all in there.
But yeah, I mean, there's a big difference between a dangerous climber and a risky climber. Yeah. Because you can have a dangerous climber who's not taking much risk. Yeah. But you can have a risky climber who is very dangerous. Yeah. You see what I mean? Yeah. And you can have like the like a top climber who's doing really dangerous things but doing them safely. Yeah. And what is perceived as being really, really hard, and what people might see as actually being very risky. Yeah. But they're not actually doing it in a very risky way. Yeah. Whereas you could actually go to somewhere like Stanage on the weekend and then see people taking much higher risk. Yeah.
unaware of it.
Yeah,
maybe.
but sort of like unaware of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I won't mention any names. I remember talking to someone who people think was a very dangerous climber, talking about climbing with another climber who people think was really dangerous, who subsequently died, and he said he didn't want to climb with him because he was too dangerous. Right. And he took too many risks, like he would take out gear unnecessarily and things like that. And I thought it was really interesting how, someone can be very aware of what they're doing, and even the Huber brothers. I met like Thomas Huber last week, and he was saying about when they were like speed climbing Zodiac and stuff. They just had like one draw with the rope locks with a clove hitched into it. Just not even screw gate, and that's all there was between the two of them. Yeah, and they just had this like total confidence. I think when they were when they brought the record on the nose, there was like one wire on the Great Roof. And that was the only thing they had. So Thomas was like Jumaring up on this fixed wire, and then Alex was just like kind of free soloing up with this huge loop of rope. But what you don't realise that they'd gone up there and like hammered this wiring with a hammer. Yeah. And they were 100% sure that wire was good. Yeah. And they knew that when Thomas was hanging on this Petzl carabiner, well, it wasn't a screw gate because it was weighted. It wasn't going to come undone. And again, it's like once you go into the real nitty gritty of it, it looks really dangerous. But it kind of.
And also, you can do quite incredible things when you're psyched.
Yeah.
But when you actually have like something in mind and a project and you're psyched, then I think I felt like I noticed that this year when I was out in Yosemite, because last year I'd climbed both Half Dome and El Cap in the same day. Yeah. Solo day, both in the same day. And I went out this year with some solo projects and objectives, and I started doing like a little bit of practice and stuff. And I was just like, holy crap, like some of the stuff I did last year, like I must have been really psyched to have done that. And then I was just like, my God, I'm not feeling up to that anymore.
Is that maturity?
I don't know.
Are you in love with something?
Yeah. and then I just I sort of like totally sacked those projects off. Yeah. And just called it a day with that. But at the time I didn't notice it because I was so psyched and it
it's amazing how you can. Yeah. I wonder if it's like if you were fighting like. So if like a polar bear came in this room now, and all you had was that knife, knife, you grabbed the knife. Yeah. Either you or the polar bear. Yeah. Like if someone said to you, what you're going to do, you're either going to die or fight to the death, and you're probably going to lose anyway.
Do I have this oat milk as well?
A
knife and an oat milk. Yeah.
But like as an abstract thought, you're like, but when it's really happening. It's amazing when you're actually in the middle of something that you look back. I remember I've had times where I've just walked in the middle of the night and I thought back to things I've done as a climbing. And it's just terrified me to think about like what was I even thinking? Like why am I going up? Like trying to solo the Eiger or whatever. And you look back and like what the fuck was I thinking? Like it doesn't make any sense. But in the moment,
you don't really.
I remember I tried to solo the Harlan on the Eiger. I remember just being stuck on this one place for about 4 days, all this just really bad weather. And then I had this like fixed rope and I started jugging up the next day and all this snow landed on my head like a avalanche of snow. And you just look back and like, what was the anchor and everything? And you're like, you were just in this space where it becomes this normalization of doing something. You kind of, you probably